Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is the 58 Keys Writers Workshop. The idea is I tell you how I do something, and then you disagree with me in the comments. That sounds a bit flippant, really, but I mean, how else is this supposed to work, right? Writer to writer, you and me having a chat in the comments. In this case, about pitch emails. This is actually even more specific than it sounds, because I'm not talking about what you do when you send the first 3 chapters of something to a publisher or a script to a producer. I'm talking about a step further back when you are trying to make that first contact. And there's like 3 parts of this. One is how you find out who to try to get in touch with, then the email, the main part of this, and then what you do after you've sent the email, which is quite a quick, well, it's quite a quick thing for what takes a long time. First of all, finding the right person. I mean, this depends on the kind of thing you're going for, publishers and producers and things, but really, the job is find the person, not the job that they're in. So the editor in charge of children's novels. Are there children's novels? There must be young adult stuff, whatever. Find a publisher and who is doing that and who is doing it there now. So, you know, there are online guides for it. You can go to websites of the publishers. They'll always say no unsolicited material. Okay, pretty much always. But they will list who does what, probably. They will also have an email address. That email address will probably be admin at somewhere or info at somewhere. And I'm not actually convinced those go anywhere at all, but you know, they will probably have a phone number for the publisher. And I do think sometimes this is quite hard, but phone them up. Ask who is the editor in charge of this section of things. They might give you the name. They might not. They might just say, use info at email and thank them very much, and they'll even read out the email address to you. Don't bother saying yeah I've seen that one, that's rubbish. Just thank them very much and then immediately email. And in fact, I've even said in the top of it, I'm the guy who just phoned for it looking for. Okay. If you can possibly get a name, great. I think the worst thing that ever happened to me was they said, oh, that's Sarah Hare, and put me straight through to her, and I wasn't ready. That was pretty bad. But I need the name, I need the best email address for them. And just not kickback about the email, but we're writers. Email is where we demonstrate that we're writers. We are promoting ourselves with every email we send. This is one way to do it. So once you've got the name of the person, email them immediately. I mean, sometimes it's been so difficult to find out that you think, okay, that's that job done for the day. I can tick that off my list. You got to think, but no. Jobs change so often in this business that you just email them straight away. This is what you email them. This is what I like receiving things like this, and it's what I recommend you do. There's one reason against it. I'll tell you in a second. You email the person. Okay, so first paragraph is really, really direct and short. May I please send you a manuscript or a script? I'm trying to think of it just, I was going to say a title then, but the title won't mean anything. I don't want a long description yet. A book for your YA range, a script to fit, a 1-hour television drama script, something like that. But the clear thing is, may I please send you this material? Great. Second paragraph, really short again, but what that material is. Here's where you'd put the title, here's where you'd put the genre for it, and something about why you are the person to write this and why it should be written now. I'm just going through that with a publisher now. They want the book. I really, really want to do the book with them, but we've got to think, why are we doing it now? And actually, let's be honest here, are there better people than me to do it? And I want the book so much that if someone better comes along, give it to them. Just get that book done. I want to read it. Okay. Something about, so what it is, who you are, why you, why now, in as few words as you can possibly manage. And then the third paragraph, why you are asking this particular person, not this company, this person. So you have published Stephen King, a bit broad, but something more specific like that, or a lesser known author, somebody who is in some way doing things that are even slightly related or similar to yours. You're giving them a real reason why you're sending them, and what you're saying is, I'm not sending this to everybody, I'm sending it straight to you for it. It would be good if you can hear praise something they've done. So you produced that 1 hour drama about the detective with a bicycle or something, and it was fantastic. I mean, be a bit clearer than fantastic, but also mean it. If you actually liked the bicycling detective, we could write that. If you really liked it, say so, and you can tell. If you didn't, or you haven't even watched the thing yet, don't say anything, because you know instantly. You're a writer, you know that there's an undertow, there's proper words for that, but also the words you use, the words you don't use, you are constantly conveying things, and one of them is, it will reek to high heaven that you've never even heard of this thing. Isn't there a story about this, a TV show called Stargate SG-1, and in an interview, a writer said, "Oh yeah, never miss an episode of Stargate SGI," or something. It's like, yeah, thanks for coming. Okay, could be a great writer, but you know, you're lying about something. Okay, and then out. So basically, that's Dear William, or 3 paragraphs, and then thanks, out, gone. Okay. You send that off, you forget all about it. This is the thing you do next. You wait a certain amount of time. It's always going to take a certain amount of time. And I don't really have a good idea of how long to suggest you wait. But I mean, if it's under a month, cop onto yourself. You know, things have to be done. A month or more later, you do email them again, but you do it in another really specific way. And the key part of this is, you do not say, "So duh, you've had it a month, where's my decision?" You do this instead. Let's say that book proposal I sent you a month ago about this TV show. I've just been given permission to access this brilliant archive at UCLA. That's actually happened to me. What you're doing is you're giving news, you're giving another reason why the book is there, and you are not giving the editor, the publisher, a reason to think, "Oh God, this one again." Last week, as I record this, somebody sent me a message, really vague, and then about an hour later, it was, "So can we talk?" And 2 hours later, it was, "Well, I think, obviously, I suppose you're very busy, aren't you?" And then I'm pretty sure by the end of the day, it's, "Well, if you're too busy to talk to me, don't bother." Yeah, I didn't bother. So, you know, but if that person had come to me with a specific thing, I would have told them right away, yes or no, whether I was interested. If they'd followed up at a decent interval later because I hadn't responded and they had more to tell me, great. There's a term in journalism, actually no, there's a term in drama called a peg. It's sometimes called a hook as well. What you're finding is a hook or a peg, a new reason to email somebody. Oh, here's another one. This works mostly with playwrights and things. You've pitched in a script or something, nothing's happened, but a little while down the line, you get some friends together, you put on a play at a local pub. Email that producer. "I've got a play coming on." Invite them to it. I have seen this done when the writer's here in the UK and the producer's in LA. There is not a pixel of a chance that they're going to do a transatlantic flight to come see your 10-minute thing in a pub outside London or something like this. But I don't care. You've told them, "I'm active, I'm working, I'm being produced," even if it's self-produced in that case. You're also reminding them of your existence and of the fact that you've pitched them without you saying, "Hello, where are they?" And then it's better if they don't come, and they don't know what it was like, but it's better when they don't come because you can email them afterwards and say how great it was for it. So now suddenly out of one event, you've got the email, "It's coming," and maybe even a separate email of an invitation once dates have confirmed, some nonsense like that, and then an email afterwards, "Sorry you couldn't come, but you missed this, it was great, this happened," all that stuff. So now you've got 3 emails, none of them saying, "Come on then, where's my decision?" All of them putting you back in the mind of that producer or that publisher for it. I mean, I have actually held back news that I thought would help a book just to give me something to say next time. And that's a little tricky for it. I mean, maybe I could have lost the book deal because I didn't tell them that last bit. So it's a judgment, but you're trying to map out excuses to keep in touch. Because usually, actually, with anything in writing, I know that's the words on the page that matter the most. That's what I care about the most. But it's also a relationship. You have to work with these people, and you're hopefully going to work with them for a long time. So it may be the kind of on-ramp, takes a lot of emails for it, a lot of contacts for it, but you can do it. You're a writer, and it's worth it. Except did say there was one reason not to do what I've just said. And I'm telling it to you straight. I'm not kind of trying to dismiss this. I've thought about it a lot and I continue doing it the way I do. The reason against it is this, so can I send you material? It's about this. I liked your bicycle detective thing. Goodbye. Is a bit terse. Arguably a bit rude. People who've said this to me have tended to be more proponents of the I was going to go sarcastic. Let me go sarcastic then. I hope this leaves you as it finds you as it leaves me, in the greatest of health and all this stuff. Or remember that time we had tequila and the police came and all this stuff. There's kind of friendly, happy, nicey bit at the top. My problem is when I receive that, I'm thinking, aye, this is building to something. In fact, actually, I had this. I can't remember the name of the company, and I probably shouldn't tell you who did it, but somebody wanted me to be a judge on something or other. And the top of the email was like 5 paragraphs of how brilliant I am, what an important person I am somewhere about something. It's like, oh, come on, I mean, it's nice to be liked, but syrup. So I eventually said no. The next year they emailed and said, listen, somebody's dropped out, you're in the area, are you available? And I said yes, and I did it for it. Just treat me straight. You're a professional, I'm hopefully a professional, we'll work on this together. One last thought, and this is the thing that's kept me doing it the way I've said, instead of that, be nicey at the top. I think that third paragraph of mine about why you're contacting somebody and how much you like the bicycling detective, which we've got to make now, I think that's the nicey thing. And because you've got to mean it, because you mean it, and because it comes after the thing you've asked for, may I send this in, I think it's believable. It's nice, and you like it. When it's at the top, I'm trying to soften you up before I want something. I think. So I still stick to the 3-paragraph thing of what it is I want, what it's about, what I think about them, why I'm contacting them. Shorter the better for everything. But I do get the argument of being too terse. One person said to me that it was very male of me to be terse like that. And I think actually that's the thing that's made me not exactly lie awake at night thinking about it, but thinking about it a lot. And so far I've come to the conclusion, 3 paragraphs and out. That's it for this edition of the 58 Keys Writing Workshop. Remember, it continues in the comments below because of you, so please. Particularly about that terse, rude, nicey stuff. Let us know where you sit on that. And is there a third way that's somehow between the two? Until we talk in the comments, thank you very much for watching. Now take care of yourself, write more, and I'll see you soon.